In the summer of 1953, London trembled with celebration. The streets were filled with flags, church bells rang across the city, and the world watched as a young queen ascended her throne, Elizabeth II. But in a quiet corner near Windsor, an old woman watched from afar. She did not attend the ceremony. She refused the royal invitation. Her name was Grand Duchess Xenia Alexandrovna, daughter of Tsar Alexander III and beloved aunt of Russia's last emperor, Nicholas II. In her youth, Xenia had been the shining flower of the Romanov court, graceful, noble, and serene, born into a world of marble palaces and endless winters. But all of that vanished overnight, swallowed by the storm of the Bolshevik Revolution. She fled to England, the land of her cousin King George V. They shared the same grandmother, Queen Victoria. They grew up together in a world of royal privilege, believing their crowns were unshakable, their bloodlines eternal. But history drew a cruel line between them. One cousin kept his crown, the other lost her entire world. When Tsar Nicholas and his family were imprisoned in Ekaterinburg, Xenia wrote letter after letter pleading for help, begging that Britain intervene, send a ship, a guard, a sign of hope. But none came. And then, in the summer of 1918, the news arrived. News that shattered what was left of her world. Nicholas, Alexandra, and their 5 children, murdered in cold blood. From that moment on, England was never home to Xenia. She lived at Frogmore Cottage under royal protection, close to Windsor Castle, yet oceans apart in spirit. She survived on royal allowances, but carried a silence that spoke louder than any words. A quiet resentment toward the family who could have saved hers, but didn't. Then came the year 1953. A royal invitation was sent to her door, an invitation to witness the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, the granddaughter of King George V. For many, it was the highest honor, but for Xenia, it was unbearable. She declined, not out of frailty, not out of illness, but because her heart was still in mourning, not for one death, but for an entire dynasty buried in blood and silence. To her, the golden crown placed upon Elizabeth's head was not a symbol of renewal. It was a reminder of another crown, stolen and crushed in a dark cellar in Ekaterinburg. While the world cheered, Xenia remained still, her heart standing among ghosts rather than nobles. That night, as the bells of Westminster rang, she sat alone at Frogmore, perhaps looking up at the same sky that once watched over St. Petersburg. Maybe she thought of Nicholas, her gentle, doomed brother, and of the children who once called her Aunt Xenia, with laughter in the palace gardens. The world had changed, but some wounds never fade. Some loyalties never die. Grand Duchess Xenia Alexandrovna passed away in 1960, far from her homeland, far from the brother she adored. She was buried in foreign soil, but her spirit remained loyal to the memory of a lost empire. History remembers her as a woman in exile, but behind her silence lay quiet defiance, the courage to refuse celebration when celebration came at the cost of justice. And perhaps in her final years, Xenia wished for only one thing: not power, not riches, not titles, but redemption for the family that history abandoned.